Welcome to the climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. Leverage is what you're going to need to get ahead in the new music industry. 10% talent, 90% leverage. What have you done? What can you prove? Can you prove that they like your songs? Can you prove that the audience wants to come and see you live and that you're selling merch? This is what's going to get people excited and get you the record deal, get you the management, get you the publishing deal, get you the booking agency. That's why we called it the C.L.I.M.B. C.L.I.M.B. Creating leverage in the music business. That's a Baxter name. Created by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And he helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you can write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then on a regular basis, he connects you with the pro so you can create a relationship and move forward. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com. I'm losing my voice.
Yes, you are. I'd like to introduce you to my co-host who is losing his voice, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. Daredevil has created over 25 national TV opportunities for their independent artists by making them discoverable. And they've also created multiple tour opportunities for them and through the power of big word alert, digital marketing, data. They've attracted a number of investors for their artists. The investors, they like these numbers because numbers don't lie, because numbers can't talk. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S. And there is no S because there is no other Johnny D. Johnny, dude, your voice, man. I feel bad for you. Good thing I'm taking lead on this one.
I don't know what's happening.
Well, we need to go back, listen to that interview we did with Mindy Pack a little bit ago and see if there's some nuggets. You need the coffee straw. You need Mindy, if you're listening. We're going to go back and we're going to listen to that episode. And if not, call us. John needs some help here. We're going to get through this last episode, and then you can take a vocal break at least from our stuff. But I'm going to take the lead on this one and try to catch a little bit of a break here.
Thank you, brother. So what did we learn about today?
All right. Today we are going to be getting some advice from a Song of the Year songwriter. We had a Know the Pro event on Freddie.com with hit songwriter Jimmy Yeary. Jimmy's written songs for Everything's Gonna Be All Right for David Lee Murphy and Kenny Chesney. He wrote I Drive Your Truck for Lee Brice, which was won Song of the Year honors at the CMA Awards as well as at the ACM Awards. So that's Academy of Country Music and the Country Music Association. And he's had other Kenny Chesney number ones and Rascal Flatts number ones, and he's legit. And he came on and just dropped value bomb after value bomb. It was awesome. And so I want to share some of that with you guys today.
Killer. Yep. All right. Well, before we do that, let's take care of a little business. The C.L.I.M.B podcast is proud to partner with disc makers who've been supporting indie musicians before indie music was ever even a thing. When you're ready to make CDs, DVDs, vinyl, or distribute your music and videos with customized USBs, and those are really cool looking, by the way. Mm-hmm. Go to discmakers.com, discmakers.com. It's the only place you need to go.
And while you're there, click on the Guides and Resources tab and download some of their excellent free guides. They just revised and expanded their home studio handbook, which has a ton of great advice and information for newbies and for studio veterans. You can find them online at www.discmakers.com or give them a call at 800-468-9353. That's 800-468-9353.
Right on. Join the C.L.I.M.B community if you haven't done it. Subscribe to the podcast, and that way you get all the episodes like right in a row, and you can consume them as you wish wherever you consume your podcast. Take 5 seconds and leave a rating and review, and finally share it. I'm keeping this one short and sweet. Just if you like it, tell somebody about it for crying out loud, so I don't have to lose my voice again.
Exactly. I give this one a 5 lozenge review for Johnny's voice.
I'm sucking on like a lozenge right now, so if it's clicking in the microphone, I'm sorry, but it's the only way this is going to happen. All right.
That's right. Why? He is suffering for your sake, dear climber. Johnny is here. He's suffering through. He's playing hurt.
That's right.
For you
I'm
guys.
Playing hurt.
That's right. Because we want to deliver this massively valuable content for you. So
because you're worth it.
Exactly. Why? Because we want you to win.
That's right.
At the expense of Johnny's voice. All right. So, and you know how Johnny likes his voice. So, all right. All right. Jimmy Yeary, he's hit songwriter. So I told you before, he wrote I Drive Your Truck, which won multiple Song of the Year awards. Kenny Chesney, David Lee Murphy, Everything's Gonna Be All Right. I think he wrote Why Wait for Rascal Flatts, Till It's Gone for Kenny Chesney, Cold Beer Conversation for George Strait. I mean, he's just had a bunch of hits, a bunch of cuts. He's legit. And so he came on Freddie.com. We do these events at least quarterly called Know the Pro. and where we hopped on a video conference, me and Jimmy, and then other people from the Freddie community. And I've got to ask him a bunch of questions, and we opened it up to the floor, and other people can online, face-to-face from anywhere in the world, hop on there and ask the pro their own questions and get a chance to connect and get some valuable real world from the real deal advice. And so these are great, great events. And so I just want to share some of that. And then at the end, I'm going to let you know about some more events we have coming up, some other pros that are going to be joining us and how you can connect with them. So a little teaser for that. But you ready to dive on in? Johnny, just nod your head. Yes, he nodded his head.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so this is my paraphrase of what he had to say. If you want to watch the full replay and get it in his own exact language and intonation and all that good stuff, it's in the members area, Freddie.com. That's FRETTIE. So if you're a member, you can watch that and all the other Know the Pro replays in that area. So you can see it for yourself. But he says, you don't necessarily need to write with the artist. It certainly helps, but the right song can overcome that. I'm a firm believer that the best song wins. So that was just encouraging to hear from Jimmy, who does get some outside cuts. He wrote, Everything's Going to Be All Right. He wrote that with David Lee Murphy. He wrote with him as a writer, not expecting David Lee to go out and do another record. They expected to pitch it, but I Drive Your Truck, he did not write that with Lee Brice. Till It's Gone, he didn't write that with Kenny Chesney. Why Wait, he didn't write that with Rascal Flatts. Cold Beer Conversation, he didn't write that with George Strait. So he gets some outside cuts. He's with a great publisher, so he gets a lot of fair listens, and he's a great songwriter. But that was just encouraging that he is not necessarily building his career on, I got to write with the artist. He's still writing great songs, and some of them get cut. So for me, as a writer that didn't write with a ton of artists, that was encouraging. So hopefully it's encouraging for you to do great work, and there's a chance. So that was another one. If you do get the chance to write with an artist, Jimmy talked about that some. He said, if I write with an artist, I generally let that artist lead and guide. Why is that? Nobody knows what the artist wants to say better than that artist. So kind of in paraphrase quote. And so I think that's smart because we're in the service business. If you listen to me much at all, you probably heard me say that, that we are in the service business. So if you're in a room with an artist, you're there to serve that artist. Yeah. Serve the song, but serve the song that the artist wants to share with the world. And if the artist is smart, the artist wants to serve their audience. So you let them guide because they should know their audience and what they want to say in their brand better than you do because they live it every day and they should be very aware of it. I was writing with an artist on Curb Records, Ruthie Collins, several years ago, and we were writing this idea that I brought in, and she's working on her first record. And there was a thing in the bridge where we could go the Jesus route. It's been a secular song this whole time. And then, oh boy, do we go to this Jesus place? Because, she has a country record deal. Do we go to this Jesus place here in the bridge or do we not? Kind of hemming and hawing. I'm not sure. I'm like, I'm not sure if that's something we want to say or whatever. And eventually Ruthie just looked at me and smiled and said, we don't have to worry if an artist would say that because I would say that. Oh yeah. I'm in the room with the artist. All right. Yeah. She said it and she cut it. So I'm like, nice. Oh, duh. There's like a light bulb moment for me. Like, oh, that's right. I was used to having that conversation, not having the artist in the room. But now I can just go, would you say that? Does that sound legit to you? Does that move you? That resonate with you? Okay. We don't have to have the theoretical discussion on would some potential artist say this. You can just go, would you say this? You would? Okay, let's go. Let's rock with it. So anyway, I think that's great advice. Let the artist lead and guide. It's not your job to write through that artist. Sometimes you kind of have to try and get a great song, but it's also about the hang and about them saying what they want to say and enjoying the process. So it's good to let them lead and guide kind of where they want to go. Another thing, Jimmy was big, and Jimmy and I were co-teachers at the Martha's Vineyard Songwriters Festival in 2018. That's right. So I got to share the stage with him a lot, which was an honor and challenging. Just challenging to me as a writer is really, really great information there. And one thing he talked about a lot was if I feel it, you feel it. You got to get into the song where you are moved emotionally by it. If I don't feel it, you're probably not going to feel it either. And it's about writing stuff that resonates with you as a writer, stuff that's authentic and stuff that really moves you. Now, let's say I Drive Your Truck. That is somebody else's story. There was an idea that somebody else brought in based on a real event. Jimmy, he hasn't lost his brother in a war, doesn't go out and drive his truck, all that stuff. So where did he tap into it? He had some stuff in his personal life that he could use to tap in to that story and get it where he felt it.
Kind of like being an actor where you actually have to tap into some pain to translate it.
Yeah, I remember I was watching something just the other night, like 2 nights ago on, what was it? It was on YouTube. It was not inside the actor studio, but it was like a roundtable discussion with several actors. And I can't remember who that was. But anyway, so they brought them on there, and one actor was talking about, this is the person that taught me about connecting with your character, and you're writing out like the full biography of this character and what their family's like, what they were doing on the way to the scene, and what they're going to do after they leave that scene, and just knowing all that stuff is like Samuel Jackson, I think. So I was just talking about how he knows that character inside and out. And man, I wish I could remember the name of where that was, but it was like a roundtable discussion. It was just awesome hearing these people talking about their craft and stuff. But yeah, getting deep inside of it. And so if you don't feel it, if it's just an intellectual exercise for you, other people probably aren't going to feel it either. And so that's an important thing. So let's see here. It's really important to be yourself, to do what you do. This, again, kind of paraphrasing from what Jimmy said. Expose what you do to other people and let them decide if they value what you bring and if that's something that they want. And it also helps to be a writer that people just want to be around. It's instead of trying to be, we all start off trying to be somebody else. I think a lot of times, like a knockoff version of Dean Dillon or Bob McDill or Craig Wiseman or whatever. But it's like finding that thing that you do and that you bring to the table, that's your unique value proposition. And just try to get great at that and let other people decide whether or not they value what you do and want to add that spice to their mix of the, that gumbo they're cooking up that day in the room. So I thought that was important, just to kind of own what you do. It's a snowflake theory, but not in the sensitive snowflake, everything hurts me and melts me kind of way. But we're all different. Each of us is unique. We have our own point of view, our own lives, our own backstory. So if you can be you, there's not another one of those around. And that at least gives you a specific place in the market. And all these people trying to get noticed. So at least you're going to be unique and a little more identifiable. And again, what other people think. You can't control what other people think. You just try to do what you do the best you can and hope they find value in it. If they don't, you keep looking for the people that will. So that was another thing I thought was good.
Was it the Hollywood Reporter roundtable?
Yes. Hollywood Reporter. Thank you.
And Will Smith, Samuel L. Jackson, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. Benicio del Toro. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I watched a couple of those the other night. It was really good. So yeah, Hollywood Reporter roundtable. Yeah, really good stuff. So let's see, what else? What are some other things Jimmy had to say? Looking over my notes here. Now, this stuff I thought was really interesting. We got into like kind of his daily habits and his rituals and stuff, what he does to help him do what he does, right? Mm-hmm. So he said he goes through a ritual every day to get his brain revved up. So reading every day, going on vigorous exercise. So he'll go on a hard run every morning, and brain exercises to get him ready to write. He's like, I can't just wake up, hop in the truck and go write and be my best. So he has a regimen that he does, like an athlete, doing his warm-ups, getting ready to go out and perform at a high level that he does every day. So reading, getting your brain going. Extra, he'll go for a hard run and he gets a lot of his ideas when he's exercising. And then this brain exercise, and I asked him what that was, and he explained it to us in Martha's Vineyard, where as he's driving in to Music Row or wherever he's riding that day, he just starts talking out loud for about 10 minutes or something like that, just kind of as fast as he can, describing everything around him, like as he's driving. And so if he's driving, he might be, or as I'm looking out the window right now, I'm seeing the green on the leaves. I see those little helicopter seas that will fly down and probably land in my pool. I'm going to have to skim out later. I see this big pink donut floaty that blew out of my pool when it was storming earlier today. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rubber ball that's floating in the pool. I see my gray Honda Pilot parked out there around our barn. I see raindrops that still beat it up on a puddle on the roof next door. I see our little trampoline, our wooden fence. I see nobody driving by on the side street because nobody drives around here. I see the alley in the back. I saw just a reflection of a car go by in the window in front of me. So somebody out in the street out front that I can't see, I just see these little ghosts go across on the window. And so he would do that and just for like 5-10 minutes. And just really it's getting his brain working. It's storing up imagery. And it's just all stream of consciousness. Just go. What do I see? What do I see? What do I see? And he did a little bit of that for us in the room. And it was cool, but he does that on the way in, 5-10 minutes or whatever on the drive in, and do that. It's getting the words in his brain, images, and just noticing things, because we're all noticers, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all storing those details in his mind that may come out next week in a song or may come out that day in a song. But
and just saying them out loud sort of plants him
a little further in, and it makes you do it. Right?
I like that.
You actually stay focused on it if you're talking out loud, because you notice if you stop talking.
I'm going to try that now. That's really brilliant.
Yeah. So it's cool. So if you got a commute, that could be something that you do on your commute to just kind of sharpen your brain up a little bit. Or if you're going to write it on the way home, do it on the way home, a little closer to time before you go write. But that's something he does He said he does it like every day. Other stuff, he goes to bed early. He said get going early. Bring in ideas so that you can find the idea quickly, and then you have more time to work on the song. So he said the key to everything he does is prep. He has a healthy diet. He exercises. He reads. He studies artists in the market on a very consistent basis to give him the best chance of success. This guy's preparing. I'm not a huge baseball fan by any means, but I remember hearing about, what was his name? One of the major pitchers, several years ago. I can't remember, for the Diamondbacks or somebody, but just the level of study they would do for the batters, the batters' tendencies and all this stuff, and just studying. And I'm an old high school football player, and I'm a football fan, but so I never really paid that much attention to baseball, but just like how much study the pitcher would do about who he's going to face. And you wouldn't think there'd be that much to study, right? Because we just don't know. But they know, and they study a ton of stuff. And just that preparation helped him be one of the best pitchers in the world and go get a World Series championship. And so, Jimmy, who am I cutting for? If I want to write a Blake Shelton cut, I better have every Blake Shelton record and study all those songs. Because if I haven't, other songwriters have. And if I want to give myself the biggest advantage, I'm going to go study their music. If you're writing something for Blake Shelton or for Kenny Chesney. And so just the amount of prep that he would do, listening to music, staying current on what's working, on what these people have cut. What have they cut in the past? Well, they're probably not going to do exactly that again, so I don't want to be right on top of that. And can I use this, following their past 5 records, to project where they may go in the next record, so I can aim at that, not aim where they used to be, but aim where they're going to be. And so just how much he said being a pro songwriter is going to probably make him live longer. Because he watches what he eats, he exercises, he tries to get enough sleep, because our brain is a physical part of our bodies. And so the better shape our bodies are in, and we take care of our bodies, we take care of our brains, because we need our brains to work. That has really changed a lot of how I thought about writing. So thank you, Jimmy, if you're listening. He's just going, you know what, let's attack this like an athlete. And so that's helped motivate me to go out and go on runs in the morning. Part of it is because, hey, I'm in my 40s now, so I'm not going to lose weight on my own. Yeah, that's right. If I want to be healthy and I want to be around for my family and chase the kids around, I better get in shape. But also, it increases your energy levels. If you have more energy, you're more likely to write after your 9 to 5, or go in and be more present when you do write, if you're able to do it full time. But also, what's good for the body is good for the brain. Drinking enough water helps you stay alert. It hydrates your brain, so your brain's going to work better. I mean, I do brain work for a living. As Johnny takes a drink. Yes, I'll take a drink too. I'm trying
to take a drink just to talk.
That's right. But he's somebody being careful what he puts in his body. So he eats healthy, because you are what you eat. And so he's not trying to put a bunch of crap in his body that's going to fog his brain. And all that stuff matters. And it was really cool to be challenged by that. Not only by like living a good, clean life, so you're like an athlete, so you can be at peak performance when you go in there. But you're doing the prep. You got your ideas. So when you walk in the room, you can go, all right, here's some ideas. And you can get into it that much faster, because maybe your co-writer has till 3 o'clock. But if you take till 12 o'clock to find your idea, then you only got 3 hours left. But if you come in with a couple of great ideas and you find it by like 9:30, you got a lot of extra time to work on that song and try to knock it out. Yeah, that's right. Some days you may take longer to find the idea, just because, well, the idea is that important. It's better to take an extra 30 minutes to find the right idea than just to spend all day writing the wrong song. Yeah. But this guy's top of his game. I'm Song of the Year songwriter, getting cuts, getting hits. And this is how seriously he takes it. So that kind of helped recalibrate me on like the bar. I mean, he told a story of years ago, back on some cuts and some stuff, but he wasn't who he is yet. So this is some years ago. And he told the story on the Know the Pro event that he was supposed to write that day, and his co-writer canceled on him. So he's going to go play golf. He got canceled. He's going to play golf. And then, but his phone rang, and it was Ben Hayslip. Now, Ben Hayslip is one of the Peach Pickers. Ben's had a bunch of number ones, and they were definitely hot at the time, with Red Akins and Dallas Davidson getting a bunch of cuts. Ben called him, because he and Ben are buddies. And Ben's like, hey, man, just want to see if you want to join us today. We had some open up. Hey, you want to hop in? And Jimmy's like, man, I just made plans to go golf, and I got canceled. And I just called somebody, whatever, to go golf. And he's like, fine, bye, click. Yeah. Like, whoa, that was sudden. Like, he just hung up on him. So he called him back.
Because he's desperate to find a co-writer for that day.
No, this is what it is. He called him back. He didn't answer. He called him back again, and finally he answered. He's like, what? He's like, dude, what's up? You sound ticked. Why you make? He's like, Jimmy, you complain that you don't have the success that I have. You got canceled and you're about to go play golf. I just offered you a co-write and you're going to go play golf. There may be people in town that write better than me, but nobody's going to outwork me. And Jimmy's like, I'm going to go cancel my golf plans. Showed up that day. They wrote a song. It got cut.
I love that story. Dude.
I mean, we are not playing around.
Yeah.
Cats in Nashville, you want to get cuts on records? They take it freaking serious.
Yeah.
It's time to level up.
Yeah.
You know,
proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 P's.
Exactly. So it's just that thing of like, yeah, you complain you haven't had the success I've had. Well, I guess you're not working as hard as I have either, because you're about to go play golf. And I don't have time for you belly aching about not having the success I have when I just gave you a chance to get in a room and write a song and you're going to go play golf. So shut it. And he said that was a wake up call for him. And he's leveled up and he's got some number ones to show for it. So this episode was great as far as like a kick in the pants, like real world, like this is how it is, boys and girls. You better buckle up and put on your big boy and big girl britches, because this is the major leagues.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, about co-writing. So what's important between co-writers is not having ego. So you can't get easily offended. You have to be able to be honest with each other. You can do better. That sucks. I've heard that 1,000 times. Whatever. The way you roll with your co-writers is going to be different. Some are going to be more supportive and like rah-rah. Others will be like, that sucks, next. But it's important that you leave ego at the door and you're not serving your ego when you're in there, and that this is Brent talking, but that you're serving the song when you're in there and serving the mutual goal. This is why we don't count lines in Nashville.
Right.
Who wrote what percentage? No, man, we split it even. Why? Because we're serving the song. That way that's off the table. And I'm not trying to get more lines in there than you. I'm just trying to get the best lines in there. I don't care where they come from, because we're all making the same money. So let's just make more of it. Yeah,
let's just make a better song.
Let's just make a better song so we have more success.
That creates the right incentive. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, sometimes your ego still gets in there, or you're having a bad day where you feel like you're not contributing very much. So you really want to at least get something in there that you can go, that was my line, just so you know it for yourself. That happens sometimes. You're not on, or somebody else is rolling, but also you got to be present enough of the situation, have the situational awareness to go, dude, Kevin is just on fire today. So I'm just going to stenographer and rah-rah cheerlead because he is just killing it. Like, yeah, man, that's great. Keep it coming. You know, another day it might be me and he might be the one at the top of the pyramid waving the spirit fingers.
Yeah, it's like a basketball game, man. When your boy's just draining them, you just
get the hot hand.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, it's time for him to run the I formation. I get it, I shoot it. All right. Yeah, Hagen said it's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit.
Yeah.
And when you're in the room, it's not about who gets the credit and being saying, oh, yeah, I called that play. You know,
I like that.
Or whatever it is. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit.
I love that. Yeah.
And that's so important in the room, because that's why we're not chopping up percentages based on how many lines you got or whatever. We like to split it out even, because that way we're all in the scene together. So I don't want you chasing your percentage. I want you chasing the hit, the song.
Oh, that's great.
So I think that's really important. So you got to get ego out of the room. You got to have the ego in the fact of, I want to write a great song, goal, and whether you call that ego or whatever, we're going to write the best song on the road.
That's being cocky.
Or that's just confidence.
I like a cocky performer. Yeah, it's, cocky's confidence, not arrogance. Cocky. There's a difference.
Yeah. So, but you can't. It's not competitive. Now, there's competitive with your co-writers, and you try to top each other. Like, that's a great line. I'm gonna see if I can beat it. But you're on the same team, right?
Yeah.
Have the mutual goal. You both win if you top his line or if he tops yours. And so there is that competitive, good-natured thing, but it's not like a scarcity mentality, competition. It's an abundance mentality competition. Oh, that's so great. I'm going to see if I can beat it. For one, just because I want to one-up you, and that'd be bragging around. It'd be kind of funny in the moment, but also the song gets better. I'm not going to fight for a lesser line because it's mine. You got to get that out of the room. That stuff is toxic. Yeah. Because then I don't know if you're fighting for it because it's the best line, and I just don't understand it's the best line, because that happens. We'll cajole and we'll argue and fight for the best line.
The trust goes out there.
Yeah.
Because you're not sure, because like all of a sudden that person's willing to get over on you.
Yeah, right? Like, are they fighting for that because they really legit think it's the best line, or are they fighting for that because it's their line?
When I do that, like when I'm producing, you've got to develop that trust factor with your artist. A recent one I had with Haley Varall, it was like a really great singer from Canada, and that single that we did, it's on the radio right now.
Cool.
She came in and had these beautiful melodies and beautiful song, but it was a little atonal. It needed a change. It needed like a little lift in the first verse. And the way I had to serve it up was, it's her song. She can do whatever she wants with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, you're hiring me to produce, so I'm going to throw out an idea, and we can do it however you want to do it. So the way we did it is she had sent me a work tape, and then I just had her, because we had to do the pre-production with the phone before she came down to cut it. And I had her, we figured out what the chord change was going to be, and then what she was going to do with the song. And I said, now I just want you to get through this and play it enough times so that you can do another work tape right now. I'm on the phone, and then listen to them both, and whichever one you choose, that's the one we'll do. Mm-hmm. So it left it up to her, but it was because I wasn't trying to tell her that my way was the better way. It was just, this is what I'm feeling. That's what you're feeling. And then see if you think this is better. And if you do, we'll do it. If you don't, we'll do the other one. Yeah. And that's how you got to serve that up. But you got to be sensitive to the fact that I'm not trying to tell her what to do. It's a sandbox thing. And you got to, the second that happened, it was interesting that you said that, because I never thought about it like that. But then that's the thought process. Are they just trying to do this to get over on me? Or do they, because then you're also in that same thought, you're also as a humble artist, writer, I always consider writers artists, like you're thinking about yourself too. Like, how can you not think about that? Yeah. And you're like, am I missing something here? Or are they just trying to get over on me? Like, that's the worst effing place you could be. Right. You don't want that to happen, and you can control it by minding your piece of cues like you're talking about here. And both happen. Sometimes in a co-write, I just don't get it. They're making a suggestion that is great, better than what I had. But I just, for some reason, it's not clicking with me. I just don't get it. Yeah. And they're aiming for the best line, and I just don't get it. So sometimes that's it, and I just need to be convinced or trust them. Sometimes you just go, I don't quite, but I trust you. Let's go with that now and live with it and get some feedback. But the last thing you want is going, yeah, man, I just don't know if they're about, they just want that because they want that, or because they want to contribute, or it's the best thing. So you want to keep that out of the room. But yeah, man, I'll tell you that event with Jimmy is just full of that stuff. I mean, gave me a major kick in the britches to go, okay, let's level up this thing. I've had cuts. Yeah. I got a hit onto my name, but it's inspiring. It's inspiring. Wow. This is the game we're playing. This is how seriously people take it. Yeah. Curt Schilling was that baseball player. Curt Schilling, I think for the Red Sox or something, but the one that studied the batters and just put in hours and hours of study. But yeah, Jimmy's, everything he does is a product of prep. He puts his body in the best position it can be in. He puts his mind in the best position it can be in. Sleep, exercise, water, doing brain exercises to get it warmed up and coming up with song ideas so he can walk in and it's game time. And you never know if you're playing in the Super Bowl that day. That's the thing. Like Tom Brady or Curt Schilling, he knows when he's going to be playing in the World Series. Yeah. Back when he was playing, he knew. It was on all the papers. Okay, we just won the whatever league champion. Now we're going to the World Series. Football player, we just won the AFC divisional round, whatever. We're going to the Super Bowl. With writers, you don't know what day the Super Bowl is. You may know if you're going to go right with Kenny Chesney that, this could be the Super Bowl because this has a good chance we write the right song. Kenny Chesney cut it. He's a major artist. He singles it. It could be number one. Other day, I didn't know I was in the Super Bowl when Aaron and I were working on Monday Morning Church. Sure. But ended up going top 5. I had more of an inkling when I was working with Gord Bamford and Byron Hill, writing with Gord for his project. But I was just trying to get something on the project and trying to do the best work I could. I didn't know it was going to be in a number one and a Canadian Country Music Award single of the year. Mm-hmm. But we're aiming for that. But you just got to prep, like today might be the Super Bowl. So you just you got to stay in shape, and because there's kind of no off season, and just go in so you're prepared every day like it could be the Super Bowl. Because it could be. You could write that song that changes your life. It comes from love of the craft. Yeah. Wanting to be good at the craft. Yeah. And I love what he said about being a songwriter is probably going to make him live longer. Yeah. It's like that is what I use to motivate myself to eat healthy, get enough sleep, get enough exercise, and keep my brain sharp. It's funny. It's like you don't normally think about musicians and people like die at 30. Living on the edge. Yeah. Living on the edge. And he's taking the opposite approach going, I'm going to live longer so I can do more art and do it better. Yeah. I think it's cool. And that's kind of the angle I'm and and for some people, just on that tangent for a second, there's you've got Tom Brady, who is 6th round draft pick. Mm-hmm. I think. Something like that. Yeah. It was very irrelevant draft pick out of Michigan. I think it was 6. Yeah. Like an afterthought. That's the afterthought round. Yeah. And he's got 5 Super Bowl rings now. And still, what's he, 40? He's 41. 41. And So one of the things they say about him is most football players after their season's done, they relax and maybe they'll drink a little bit more. They won't eat great or whatever. They sort of let loose a little bit, and then they bring it all back around again when the summer comes to get tightened up for the fall season. He never does. He's always training. And they were joking about like him being such a square, right? Because it's like, dude, it's April or it's March.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can have a cocktail. No, I'm training. And so my point being, he's lasted that long on account of that mentality.
What I just heard this week is that he just clocked at 41 years old. He just clocked his time in the 40 faster than he ran at 21.
Stop it, really?
5.1 something. It was faster than he ran at 21, and he's 41.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
God bless him.
I know. It's like he might not drink wine, but he ages like one.
Here's the other way to think about it too. The other thing I was going to make was it's kind of a similar thing, I guess, because, think about Tom Brady. I mean, we can't get it out of our head that he's just a superstar, like an overachiever, but he didn't come in to the league like that. He didn't come in like supposed to be, Aaron Rodgers came in the league, was supposed to be the first round draft pick. And it went to Alex Smith. And then nobody needed a quarterback. And Packers got him like 26th, the first round, but number 26. It was crazy. We couldn't believe we got him. So he came in supposed to be hot. It wasn't what happened with Brady. And the same thing with like Terrell Davis. We talked about him before on the podcast, but the running back. So he was a guy just had the talent to be in that league, which is a lot of talent. But he was the first guy on the field, last guy off the field. He just outworked everybody. And he wasn't Barry Sanders. He wasn't O.J. Simpson, like not the evil O.J. Simpson, but the running back. He wasn't that guy that just had that kind of amazing natural talent, but he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah. Because he did this mentality. He took it this seriously. And I think you could argue that amongst NFL players, he was probably mid to low mid-level on the talent, but he just made a life for himself and a name and a legacy by doing what other people weren't going to do. Yeah. And I think that aspires to a lot of artists and a lot of songwriters that are just, Barbara was talking to us about Madonna's producer and saying how he's like, well, mediocre sells. And it's like, I don't know if mediocre sells. I just think people that are kind of mediocre work harder because they know they have to, as opposed to the one who can just like sing with their golden voice and make you cry, and they just think the world should fall at their feet because that's what's happened to them their whole lives. That's their experience, right?
You know what? I'll tell you little Baxter family story. So my sister, Dion, is 5 years older. Dion, if you're listening, hey, love you. Hi, Dion. She's 5 years older than me and naturally smarter. Okay. So she went through high school. She was salutatorian, so second in her class, barely got beat out for second in her class. So straight A's, he's smart as a whip. Also very full social calendar. Dated a bunch, fun, whatever. Second in her class, got to give a speech. She was awesome. My dad lost a bunch of weight to walk her, graduation. It was awesome. And anyway, then got scholarship to U of A, Razorback. She went up there and lost her scholarship as soon as humanly possible.
Really?
Yeah, great, because she continued to have a good time. But she never had to work that hard at school. Yeah. And college is not about mastering the subject. College is about mastering yourself. Because no one makes you go to class. No one makes you study like when you're home with your parents. Right?
And high school is boring.
And high school is about you got to beat the material. Yeah. So me, on the other hand, not naturally as smart as my sister. I'll admit that. I had to work harder. Yeah. I didn't have the full social calendar. I had to put in a lot more work. Graduated with honors. So I was like top 10% in my class or whatever, but I wasn't second in my class. And I was like 19th or 20th or something. So I had to work a lot harder. Didn't have the social life. I went to Arkansas State, kept my scholarship for like 4 years. Because I learned
you had a scholarship?
Academic.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it doesn't come up. Not much relevance to the rest of my life. Just
that's impressive.
So, but kept that for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Because I learned how to work. Yep. Now, Dion's successful at her career, and I have a career not really using what I went to school. So it's fine. But using that as an example of some people, you say they just open their mouth and magic comes out and they never learn how to work. Other people, like you talked about, clawed yourself up to middle management vocally, learn how to work. Yeah. And so that work matters. Ben Hayslip told Jimmy, he said, there may be people that can outright me. There's not going to be anyone that's going to outwork me.
I love that story. Called him right back and he didn't answer.
Yeah, just
Like,
kick at it, because you've been complaining, and here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And you're going to go play golf.
Yeah.
So shut up about not having success.
Last time we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Exactly. He's like,
I'm going to cancel that right
I'm
now.
sorry, I will be there. I will be there in 20 minutes.
That's right. Yeah.
And the song freaking got cut. So there you go.
Great story.
So if you want to hear everything that Jimmy had to say, and you also want to hear what Hall of Fame songwriter Byron Hill had to say, who's number ones by tons of people, if you want to hear what a music publisher, Scott Sherrod, has to say in these Know the Pro events. And also, if you want to join some of these live from anywhere in the world online, what we do is we do a video conference, and we have 2 coming up in August. We have 1 coming up in September, and we try to keep 1 kind of on the docket at least quarterly. And then you can also watch the replay. But in August, we have 2 coming up. We have independent song plugger Shane Barrett. So this is the guy that songwriters hire, and he works with them, and he goes and he gets cuts for them. And we also have our hit music publisher, Tim Hunzy from Anthem Entertainment. It used to be called Olay, and before that, Tim was over at Parallel. He's been around and secured a lot of cuts. So together, these guys have had cuts by all kinds of people. It's just ridiculous. And then in September, Larry Beard's going to be joining us. He runs one of the best and highly regarded demo studios in Nashville. So we're going to be talking about the demo process. And all this stuff is free for subscribers to Freddie.com. And this FRETTIE.com. Freddie's $5 a month. If you join now, that locks that in. So the pricing may change, but it's not going to change for you. And so for that, you get the replays of any you missed. You get to join us live and actually make a connection with the pros. That's what we do at Songwriting Pro, like help you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and connect to the pros. And this helps you on all those, because we talk about the business, we talk about the craft, and then you actually get to be face-to-face from anywhere in the world with these pros. Is what helps you make a connection. So really at $5 a month, it's a no-brainer. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of what we do over at Freddie. So if you're interested in finding out more, just go on over to Freddie.com, FRETTIE.com. If you're listening to this way in the future, go to songwritingpro.com, and that kind of opens the gateway to Freddie and Songwriting Pro and all that good stuff. But yeah, we got that coming up. So I'd hate for you to miss out on getting to meet with a couple pros and getting to
and that's when you're working with those, when you're in the presence, when you have proximity to that, it tells you where the bar is. And then you're working for the right thing, as opposed to working for what your perception of what the bar is or should be. Mm-hmm. And then you're delusional, right? Because you're wrong. Like that's not where it's at. So learn about that. It's an easy thing to do. So like, hey, Slip, giving it to your boy, saying, you know what, you've been complaining that you can't get in the game, and here's your chance to get in the game, and you're going golfing. Here it is. If you're out there listening to my voice and you're complaining about how it's an insider's club and you can't make relationships and everything like that, and for $5 a month you can get closer to these people, like what?
Yeah, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah, there it is.
Because I'm seriously underpricing this.
That was my next thing, is like, just raise that. Like yesterday, I can't
skip a Starbucks a month, and
goodness gracious. Yeah. So anyway, guys, join the C.L.I.M.B community if you haven't done so. It's a very active community. We're very proud of it. Lots of good people with great advice on there. Lots of questions and stuff being thrown around. I think even some co-writes have been birthed out of there, which is kind of cool. I know I've even had some opportunities that haven't materialized yet, but just for some different song placements and stuff that I just last minute thing. I'll go to people that I know are doing it, and hey, you got something that'll fit this or fit that, and it's a swing at the back. Subscribe to the podcast so that it comes in automatically to wherever you're consuming your podcast. Take 30 seconds to leave a rating and review. Talk about my voice and how much I'm losing it, and how you still like the podcast. And then finally, tell somebody about it. Share it on your social media. Let other people know that you like this and why you like it. And if they hear it enough times, they're going to dig into it. And our data just shows that once they hear a couple episodes, they're in. They find the value in there, and we're very proud of it too. So this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.